Imagine a bustling city with thousands of Airbnb, each with its own story. The location, price, review, and even seasonality. But instead of shifting through endless spreadsheets, what if you could query and analyze all that data in seconds? Today, I'm going to show you exactly how to set up a data warehouse in Google BigQuery to make sense of massive data sets using Airbnb as our example. Let's dive into the world of data warehousing with a quick walkthrough that's easier than you might think. First of all, let's go to our Google console. So you can go to Google and type Google Cloud Console. For me, I'm already signed in, so I will just click on Google Cloud Console platform. You can see that I'm logged in already. So we'll click here, click on this icon and scroll down and select BigQuery. Under BigQuery, move here and select BigQuery Studio. You're going to be using BigQuery Studio for this project. So click on it. So our BigQuery Studio interface is open. Before we start the project, we need to create a project. So I'm going to be creating a new project for this BigQuery project you're going to initiate. So I'm going to call it Airbnb data warehousing. I'm going to call it Airbnb data warehouse. Use my bill and I'll click create. So it's creating our project. This is the first step you need to take when creating a project. Now click select project. So now we've selected our Airbnb data warehouse project we just created. Now we need to go to this icon here and we'll scroll down. We'll come to BigQuery and go over here and select BigQuery Studio. So now that we've selected our BigQuery Studio, we'll now go to click on this icon add here and click on local file. But before we go to local file, let's go to Kaggle. So when you go to Kaggle, look for this. You need to, if you don't have an account on Kaggle, you can create an account. It's easy to create. So you look for this data set name on the search engine here and data cleansing Airbnb open data. Then it will pop up and it will show notebook to display notebook on your screen initially. So you click on input. When you click on input, come over here and download this CSV open data file. So download it. You need to have enough space on your computer, at least 40 megabyte or more. So it's going to take 35.9 megabytes to download this Airbnb in order for you to use it. So after downloading the zip file, you extract it. Then you can now go back to our Google, our Google Cloud platform. Then click here, click on this icon add and click on local file. Then you can see create table from upload. So you select create table from upload. If you click this, you can see some drop down that you can get your data from Google Cloud Storage, and this is the Google Cloud Data Lake. Then you can get it from your drive. You can get it from the Google Big Table. You can get it from external source like Amazon S3, Azure Block Storage, and existing table and view. So you can see that in the real world sense, most of your data are going to come from Google Cloud Storage, Drive, and Amazon S3 and Azure, because sometimes this data comes in terabytes and petabytes, so which cannot be ingested in your local machine. So for study purposes, we are going to be uploading data from our local machine extracted from Kaggle. So click upload, then click browse. So you can see this is my Airbnb open data that I downloaded initially, and I've extracted it from the zip file. So you select it and you click open. You can see that it has converted the file format to CSV. It recognizes the file format. So this is the CSV. This is a CSV file. So this is a CSV file. So we can browse our project name. Can browse our project name that we created initially. So the project name that we created initially is Airbnb Data Warehouse. So select it. So now we'll create a new data set. And here we can create a data set ID. So I'm going to call it Airbnb underscore King's Arise. This is my channel name. I'm going to be using multiple region in the United States. I'm going to be leaving all things like this, and I'll click create. So now select the Airbnb King's Arise we just created. For the table name, I'm going to use Airbnb underscore I'm going to use Airbnb dash King's Rise 2024. Every other thing is going to, so I'm going to select auto dictate schema, so it will create a schema automatically for us. But let's see, if I initiate create table, it's going to give us an error. So let me initiate it. It's going to give us an error. So for we to ingest this data, you can go here and we'll click on this. I'll select upload. And we select upload, but Look, you look click, you select upload. Looking at the drop down, we can see that we have Google Cloud Storage, Drive, Google Cloud Big Table, and external source like Amazon S3, Amazon Block Storage, and existing table. Sorry. So for study purposes, we are going to be using upload, but in the real world scenario, data sets will be coming from those places, because sometimes these data sets are in terabytes and petabytes, which are in large volume, which cannot be ingested in our local machine. So it might be coming from S3, might be coming from Azure Block and Google Cloud Storage. So now let's click on upload. Since you're getting it from our local machine, then we are going to select file, the Kaggle file we downloaded, and you click on browse, you click on Airbnb, open storage we downloaded from Kaggle, click on open, and it will change the file format to CSV file format. So the project we created initially, we're going to select it, and its name is Airbnb. So it's Airbnb data warehouse, select it. Then for the data set, you're going to create a new data set name. So we're going to call it Airbnb dataset project. And we're going to be selecting, we are going to leave it this way. We're going to be selecting multiple regions from US, and the options, we're going to leave it the way it is. We're going to leave it the way it is. We're going to click create. Oh, sorry, I'm supposed to use underscore here. So I'm going to click create. So this is, we'll select this one, and for the table name, you're going to call it Airbnb. I'm going to call it Airbnb table project. And we're going to use auto dictate schema. So we'll click create table. So you can see that it failed to create our table. You can see that it say failed to create table, error while reading data, error message, CSV table encounter too much errors, giving up. Rows are 35,389. Error that the table. So you can see that the data is giving us an error. It say error while reading the data, error message, CSV table encounter too many errors, giving up. Role is telling us that the role is 35,389 and the errors are 100. Please look into the errors collection for more details. So if we try to open the CSV, this CSV file, let me open it on my Visual Studio. You can see it has an ID name, and you can see that the names have spaces, which is not supposed to be so in SQL. This ID is supposed to have underscore. You can see the host name has spaces. The BigQuery Studio will recognize this as a two separate name without comma. So it will generate so much error, and it's telling us that it generates over 100 errors. So now let's look into how to ingest these data sets even with the error. So we'll go to advanced option. Go to advanced option, will increase the number of error that is allowed. So let me just increase it to 1000, and we know that it's CSV file, and is comma separated like this. We'll still leave it that way, and it's double quotes. So it said header rows to skip. So header rows to skip, let's even put like header rows, let's say like 50, because the header rows are not correct. We'll correct it after ingesting the data, and then we'll leave the encryption to Google manage encryption key. So now let's click create table. That the Google Studio recognize while creating the table is about 100. So it's telling us to please look into the error for more details. So for we to download this table with so much error, we need to click on the advanced setting, and we'll come here, we'll increase the number of error. Let's say we increase it to 500, since it's telling us that it's 100. So we'll select unknown value. So the header row to skip, we'll leave it at 0. So now we'll create our table.
How long have you been doing this one?
So now let's go to our Airbnb table project. So go to table, and you can see that the table has been you can see that the data set has been uploaded successfully. So now let's go to preview. You can see the name, the host ID, the host identity, verify the host name. And as a data engineer, you will note that these names are separate. You can see that there's a gap, there's a space between the name. It's not like the host identity verify. Let's start from the beginning. This one looks good, the ID looks good, the name look good, but look at the host ID. There is a space between that name, and if with this space you cannot query this data. So look at the host name too, has a space, the neighborhood group have a space, and then the neighborhood looks okay, the latitude, the longitude looks okay, the country looks okay, the country code looks okay, the instance bookable looks okay, the cancellation looks okay, and the query, the room types has a space in it. You can see the what's this one. Let me expand it so that we'll see the full name. You can see that the construction here has a space which needs to be corrected. The price looks okay. The service fee needs some correction. The minimum night needs some correction. The number of reviews number of reviews has a space in between, needs some correction. The last reviews need correction too. And you can see the review per month needs correction. And the review rate number needs some correction. The calculated host listing count needs some correction. Availability 365 has a space in between. It needs some correct. The house rule license, and the license is so if you check the role header, it's about 25 in numbers. So now we need to write a query to correct this this error, and you can see that this data set looks messy. It looks messy, but this is not what I'll be correcting here. But for we to just do the basic, let's go to for we to do the basics on this data set, let's go to query and create a new tab. And you can see the table name. So now I want to change those role header that has spaces in between. So you're going to write a query. So we can create or replace this one. So you can see that I have already worked on this project. So what we do, we change those names to this. So now let me select. So I'll copy this one from my email, and I'll come to here. I'll come to our back to our so now we'll give it a name. We'll give it a new name. So that I'll just put correct header, correct role, correct low role header as the name. Then I'll paste on this. I'll paste this, then I'll select from this one, because you're going to be creating a new table from the old table that has a wrong error. That's the only way to fix this error. So the ID, we'll go through each one after the other. The ID will remain as the ID, and then the name will remain as the name. And the host ID which is what host, ID. Let's go back to our data set, then we'll see. So let's go to, so if you come here, you see that the host ID is separate, and so we need to put an underscore to make them a whole word, a single word instead of two words. And the host identity verified are the same, so we'll leave this one as it is. The host name has a space in between, so let's put host name here. And here too, let's check the neighbor group. The host name, we've corrected this one. The neighborhood group has a space, so we can just copy this one and come to our query and correct it. And if you check the neighborhood, this is correct. There's nothing to change there, so we just put it. And the latitude too is correct, so we just type it. The longitude is correct, so just type it. Country too is correct, just type the country too. So as a data engineer, your jobs require patience. You are the one that will do all the dirty job before creating a materialistic view of this data that you send to data analysts, the marketing department, and all other departments, or even the data scientists. You do all the dirty job behind the scene before sending it to other engineers that will make the virtual users fees, or for the data scientists to create their model, or the machine learning to create their model. You're going to be the one to do all the dirty job. So you need to be patient and be careful in doing all the dirty job. And sometimes you might encounter error, but don't give up. Just continue with, try to figure out the error. You can check Stack Overflow. You can check Google to see how to fix the error, and even use ChatGPT sometimes to fix this error. But be careful the information you share with ChatGPT when correcting an error. Some company policy place a restriction on it, so you need to be careful with that too. So let's check the country code if we need to correct something on the country code. Longitude country. So you can see there's a space on the country code. So let's copy this one. So the country code, we've corrected it. So let's check. I think the instance bookable is the same thing, if my memory serves me right. And the cancellation policy, let me see if we need to make a change. Look at the instance bookable is correct. The cancellation policy too is correct. The only error that we need to correct, another error that I need to correct, is the room type, which has a space in between. So let's come here under the cancellation. Let's copy. And the room type has a space in between. So just change it to room type. Let's check the construction here. The construction here needs some correction too. So let's select it. So you can see that the construction here will be corrected to construction underscore here. The price, I guess, is the same. So leave the price as price. The service fee, I don't know if it has some correction, but let me put service fee. Let me see if it has some correction to do too. The service fee has a correction to do, and the minimum nights has some correction to do too. So let's go here. And the number of night, I guess it has some correction to do. So let's check through. The number of night has some corrections to do too. We just come here and so I will advise you to get familiarized with this by typing it yourself so that you'll be familiar with error you'll be facing in the future than um, copying and pasting it. So I will not be pasting this SQS query on the description of this video. I want you to type it yourself to familiarize yourself with these errors and this correction we are making. So the last review will now copy it. Need some corrections to do. Oh no, here has some correction to do. Last review. Number of reviews. Let me check whether it needs some correction. Number of reviews needs some correction. Let me correct it. Because I put last review and last review here. So this one is corrected. So review per month. Let's see if it needs some correction too. Review per month needs some correction. So I'm going to copy the one that has space and I'm going to paste it here. So you can see that the header is about 25 in number. Review rate number. Let's see if it needs some correction. Review rate number. And the calculated host listing, I guess it needs some correction too. So let's check it and see it needs some correction. Copy. And we're going to control. No, this one. So I'm going to paste the one that has space. Now I'm looking that this might generate error because it's saying count as, which is a particular syntax word for SQL. But let's see. Availability 365 needs some correction too. And let's check the house rule. The house rule looks correct. So this one doesn't need correction. So house rule is house rule. And the license is license too. Doesn't need any correction. So license is license. So you can see we are creating. Let me you see, you remember that I had to create a new name for the new table because it's not going to have the same name as this old table you're creating from. You see that I added a new name to it. So let's see. Let's run it, but I guess that is going to generate an error. If you generate an error, then I'll show you how to fix them. So let's run it and see. It said Airbnb header is not supported. It said Airbnb dataset project role header is not a supported object. In order for me not to bore you with the issue arising with this error, we are supposed to put a quote on these spaces because SQL will recognize this as a separate keyword as ID. You can see here, you can see last is a keyword in SQL synthesis. And you can see here too, you can see counts as so you're supposed to put quotes on all these headers that had spaces in between before we convert them. In order for me not to bore you with this, I'm going to paste the correct query and you can look through and fix yours before you run it again. So I'll select all and I'll paste it. So let's go through the correction I did. So you can see that the host ID has been added single quotes on the host ID, the host name, the neighborhood group, and you can see the country code. So I added it because they are separate. You can see the room type, the construction year. So just carefully go through it and fix all this error by putting a quote at the beginning and at the end of it. Then now let's run our query. Can see that you can see that we've successfully created a a new table with the right header. We have created a new table with the right header. So now let me copy this table we created it, and let me delete this one. So now let's say select all from this table that we just created. So let me limit it. Let me limit to let me limit it to 200. Let me close it and let me run it again. This is our new table we created. You can see this is our new table with ID name, and you can see that the host ID now has underscore, and then the host identity still remain. The host name has been corrected, the group name has been corrected, the country code has been corrected, the cancellation policy, the room type, the construction year, the service fee, number of reviews, and the last reviews. You can see the reviews per month has been corrected, and the calculated host listing has been corrected. The house rules have been corrected, and the license has been corrected. So guys, this is how you upload your data set into your Google Cloud BigQuery data warehouse successfully. So you might encounter some errors, so just go through the video again and you are going to see how we uploaded these files, this data set with a lot of error. So as a data engineer, your job now, the extra job you need to do is to write an SQL query that will clean. And there you have it. We have just built a data warehouse, imported data, ran meaningful queries. BigQuery makes it easy to manage and analyze large data sets like Airbnb listing with just a few steps. Let me know if you have any question in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more data walkthrough. Thank you for watching and happy querying.